Okay, if you have ever sat down with a content idea, maybe just wanting to create content as a whole, having a caption ready, having a content piece in your draft that you just have not posted, this video is going to be for you. So you are not lazy, you are not unmotivated, you are not bad at your business, you are not failing or struggling. This is usually actually happening with women in business who are wanting to show up for their business, wanting to show up in a way that is aligned, that is supportive for their clients and for their business as a whole, and they want to grow their business, but they're struggling to do so. And it's for a very specific reason as to why you're struggling with this. So this pattern is very common, especially in women. And it's a very common pattern that I see with my clients when I work with them, on their business and the energetic nervous system side of things. So you know what to say, or you know what you want to talk about, even if you can't create content or you're struggling to create content. You know what you want to talk about. You know how you want to support your clients. You know what your offers are. But you might not really be feeling like you have the ability to, create the content that you're trying to create. And also you might just feel like I'm stuck. Like, why do I hesitate every time I go to post, right? And this is because you are feeling overwhelmed, right? This is because maybe you start scrolling and you're looking for like inspiration and you're looking outside of yourself for this recognition, this, reassurance that like what you want to post or the things that you're going to post are going to do well, or they're going to get views, people are going to like them, whatever, right? And so you always kind of tell yourself like, oh, when I have the time, or I'll get back to this later, or I'll do this later, right? And content and creating content and being consistent with content and the content side of business can be really challenging, really struggling. Or it can be something that you really struggle with. And we can also have a lot of shame with it, right? Like we can feel really guilty and we can shame ourselves for like not being able to show up the way other people show up, right? In their content and things like that. And this is something, again, I so commonly see with women in business, and it's not a strategy problem, right? And so we're going to get into that. So again, sometimes this can really look like you're struggling to open up Instagram, right? Or whatever app you use, right? That you post on, you might feel like you open up the app and you get distracted. I have started feeling this way with TikTok. I've been posting on TikTok, and I never used TikTok, like even just from a personal perspective, I never used it. And now that I'm posting on it, I'm using the app more, and I'm finding myself scrolling a lot. Other things that this might look like for you is like you're overthinking all the words that you're trying to use. You're overthinking your marketing. You might feel really stuck or frozen, like struggling to even just do the task of creating the post or even like posting the post, right? You have it created, you have all the things in your drafts, but you just can't post, right? And you might just avoid posting altogether because you're like, this is overwhelming. I can't even get started. I don't even know what to do. Like, why can't someone just tell me what I need to do and I'll just go do it, right? So that like the overthinking piece and the struggle to like have the capacity to think of ideas and to do the whole thing, it just feels very overwhelming, right? So again, this is not a strategy problem, right? This is not a discipline problem. This is not you being uncommitted to your business, we'll say, right? It's not a motivation problem, right? This is a safety issue. It's a safety issue in your body and your nervous system. So when you post online, you are showing up to be seen, right? And this can feel like exposure, judgment, criticism, pressure, rejection, right? Or risky, right? Like if I put myself out there, like what if people say or see or, have their opinions, right? Because the internet right now is full of opinions. And so even though logically you like know that you're safe, your nervous system doesn't really operate on logic, unfortunately. And it operates mainly, your nervous system is in place really just to protect you, right? And so if this posting on social media and stuff feels scary, then for your nervous system, because it's uncomfortable, it's different, you're already stressed, and then you're trying to do it, it's not going to feel good, and it's not going to feel comfortable in posting, and you're going to basically kind of get stuck in this overwhelm, procrastination, and avoidance when it comes to your content. And again, this isn't like because you're failing at anything or you're not good. It's literally just a nervous system piece, right? So if any point in your life you've ever felt like you haven't been seen or, speaking up or taking up space, or you've had an opinion, or you haven't felt seen, appreciated, loved, that your body remembers that, right? And your body remembers those experiences. And those are things that can link to, why we struggle so much with showing up with content. It's not so much that you have a marketing problem, right? Because someone can give you everything you're supposed to say and everything you're supposed to do, but showing up to actually do it and post it is like a whole nother ballgame, right? There are people who you could give them a whole blueprint. I said this on a podcast episode not too long ago, where it's like you could give them a whole blueprint on what to do in a business to be successful, and some people will still not do it. And they won't do it because they are still dealing with the what ifs, right? They still have to trust themselves. They still have to be confident. They still have to not be afraid to be seen, to be different, even if you gave them a blueprint that is meant to be successful and would be successful, right? So people still would not do it, which is crazy, right? So this is why forcing yourself to be consistent in your content doesn't always work, right? If anything, it actually sometimes makes you feel worse, right? You tell yourself, okay, I should be posting more, or I just need to push through this. I just need to force myself to do it. And as much as sometimes, we just need to get started, start with something small. Sometimes what we're doing is we're actually just adding more pressure to ourselves, and we're adding pressure to a system and a pattern, a thing that we're trying to do that already feels unsafe, right? Like we already don't feel good. And then we're just adding more pressure to force ourselves to do it. And that pressure that we create in ourselves doesn't actually create consistency, right? It doesn't actually create the nervous system response to help us show up consistently going forward, right? It just kind of creates this shutdown, and that's when we start to procrastinate and avoid, and we'll find something else to do, and we'll come back to this later, kind of thing, right? So what actually creates this sense of consistency and safety with this sense of consistency in our business is creating safety in our nervous system before we go into the strategy. So I had written something down, actually: energy first, strategy second, right? So we need to focus on us first before we start to try to show up for our content. So regulation before creation, right? This can look like grounding yourself before you kind of go into even creating content or posting. Taking the pressure off of the outcome of what your content is supposed to be doing for you, letting your nervous system know it's okay, right? It's okay to be seen in small ways. Maybe we need to take baby steps before we kind of, take the whole leap, right? Incrementally kind of move ourselves through it, and creating from a regulated space and not a rushed one. Sometimes what I've noticed is I do better where I have a whole day that's content creating. Other times I create content on the fly. I just kind of go with it, right? You have to find what works for you. And sometimes our creativity is not always going to be on, right? We have to appreciate the fact that we are going to go through ebbs and flows when it comes to our creativity. And that's not a bad thing, right? But we can't allow our mind and our nervous system to run wild with that thought process of I have to be creative all the time. And oh my God, I don't have creativity right now, right? We have to be mindful of the things that we're feeding ourselves and how we're, maybe stressing ourselves out or overthinking things, right? So consistency feels supportive and capable in content and sustainable when you are supported, when your body and your nervous system are supported, and you're not forcing things to happen, right? Obviously, we do have to show up for things in our business and our life of the outcomes that we want to see, but we don't have to be mean to ourselves at the same time, right? So instead of asking yourself well, why can't I just post this? This should be so simple. Try asking what do I actually need in order for me to feel safe in showing up today? Maybe you need a nap. Maybe you need to go for a walk. Maybe you don't need to do content at all today. Maybe if you give yourself a break today, you can actually then, show up tomorrow, right? And actually have more creativity because you gave yourself that sense of space, right? So if this resonated with you, I would love to invite you into my free community. It's called the Embodied Entrepreneur. This is a free space where I share nervous system education, embodiment tools, resources to help support you as you grow your business. And it's also a place where you can ask questions and get the support that you need. This also does include my free quiz and my free private podcast, which is not actually on this channel. It's like a whole separate thing. But again, it has other resources there for you as well. And so if you're tired of forcing your content and, trying to, and you want to feel like more grounded, you want to feel more supported, you want to feel confident as you show up online, this is going to be a space for you. I also have a free subliminal in there that is specifically geared towards showing up online with ease, right? So making this content piece and showing up a little bit easier for you and rewiring your subconscious mind in order to be able to do that. So if any of those are interesting for you or you're interested in that, feel free to join the group. You can always leave if you don't like it. It's free, right? There's no harm, no foul, right? Link for that is going to be down below in the description box. I'm excited to see you there. I hope you join us. As well, though, on the channel, make sure you like and subscribe. There is going to be all kinds of content that comes out. I have my podcast on this channel, as well as I do some readings and some energetic stuff to come help support you through guidance and also through tools and resources that you can start to use to start to shift your business and shift the energy of which you're showing up in your business to get different results. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here, as always. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. But otherwise, I will see you in the next video.